you will do is, these are some coins that I have put. You will take your coins and move them across like this. Okay, so this is the game right now. So let's simulate this game and let's understand this concept about flow. Okay, so you're going to take each coin and you're going to move it. The first round, each person will have to take all the coins one by one and has to move into his column. Okay, and then we will measure the time that has been taken by each person to move the coins. Okay, Abhijit, you want to get started, so you'll have to move coin by coin. First of all, you will move coin by coin like this, and let's measure the time that you are taking totally for moving all the coins into this bucket. The second bucket is your bucket, the column number D. Okay, so please move the coins now. Yes, thank you. Prakash, you can move the coins now. Okay, excellent. So Prakash has taken more than a minute. And then we will have one more participant. So let's have Ashish. Ashish, can you move your coins now into your bucket? You can move one by one. Taken that three participants. The first participant took 45 seconds. The second one took 1 minute, and third participant took more than a minute. So let me ask you this. So when you were doing this, what was your feeling when you were trying to do this coin by coin, when you were trying to move? So when Abhijit was trying to move the coins, what was the feeling that Vidyadhar or Ashish or Prakash got really when Abhijit was doing this work?
Amit, in my view, Vidyadhar here. In my view,
Yes.
I was thinking instead of moving one by one, let's drag the same color coins at once and move all at once. And I was just looking at them, how Abhijit is moving, then how Prakash is going to move, and then how Ashish is going to. And meanwhile, I was planning from my side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are planning, but you are doing nothing, right?
Yeah, correct, correct.
Okay, fine. So Prakash, what did you feel when Abhijit was doing his coins?
Yeah, I think I felt the same. I should do multiple, and I tried, but somehow it didn't work. And then I started moving one at a time.
Okay, so see, look at it. It's a common feeling, and I also felt the same thing. And I was trying to say, hey, can this become a little faster? Can Abhijit, why are you so slow? Can you move it a little faster? Prakash, can you move a little faster? So the whole feeling was that I had nothing to do when the other person was working. Okay, typically, if you see our day-to-day work life and compare it with this coins job, you will understand that there is a lot of similarity with this coins job that you did just now in the round number one and our real job. Sometimes somebody is overloaded, sometimes we are underloaded. So suppose if you have to go to the second round, okay, and we have to improve this whole process. Suppose we have to improve this process further, and we have to go here, and then we still have, suppose, these roles that first person is doing, and then only you can hand it over to the second person. If we try out like this, okay, so let's try this game in a different way now, and let's say we do it coin by coin by coin. So for example, Abhijit will move this coin here. Okay, for example, Abhijit moves this coin here, and then Prakash will actually take this coin and immediately try and move. As soon as Abhijit moves to his column, he will try and move this coin here. Let's try it out. Let's see whether this can be a little bit faster. And since we did with three participants in the first round, let's try it out with three participants. So Abhijit, you can get started, and then Prakash, as soon as Abhijit actually puts his coin in this bucket, you try and move the coin. Okay, so all three of you start. Abhijit, you can get started first by moving one coin. Then Prakash, you may want to move that same coin to the next one. Ashish, please move the coin. Okay, excellent. Keep moving. Very nice. Very good. Okay, very good. So it's taken about 1 minute and 45 seconds for the movement, and in the first round, it took you more than 3 minutes. And now, if I ask you, what was your feeling, all three of you, you did this movement of coins from one place to other place. What was your feeling when you did this in the second round?
Things were getting done in parallel, so I guess we speeded up basically.
Yeah. So you speeded up, and anybody reason for speeding up? You clearly saw in your timing also that you were able to do it within half the time. So any thought process on why you were able to speed up?
I think you felt involved, and since you felt involved, you are more active than just waiting.
You felt involved because of what?
I think because you did not have to wait along.
Yeah, you did not have to wait too long, and you were able to start working on things in a more better manner. That is, you started working on something. Okay, so it's a very important thing that you learned here, and I'm going to put up the learning objectives for the first two rounds here, and the very important learning objectives. So what you did in the first few rounds, and now I put on the learning objectives. The first way is typical waterfall way of doing things. Okay, so if the product is too big, it slows down things because you are trying to wait for somebody to complete the requirements gathering. You are trying to wait for somebody to complete the entire development, and then you are trying to wait too much for somebody to complete testing. So essentially, you will see in your real life that unless and until the requirements gathering is done, the development team is really not doing anything. And when development team has started, the requirements team doesn't have anything else to do, or testing team doesn't have anything else to do, so they are underloaded. So somebody is overloaded, somebody is underloaded. So this division of time is what is the biggest problem when you start thinking about product which is too big. What you did in your second round was very, very important, and that was about this thing. So you took your product P and you broke it down into smaller pieces. In this case, your product P was broken down into smaller coins, right? So you took your product and you broke it down into smaller pieces. And what happened is, once you start moving things, small product by product, and if you start moving things like this, then you will see that your speed of your operation starts increasing. And the speed increases, the reason is because you have lesser wait time. Okay, there is this concept about reducing your idle times and trying to move the things pretty fast to the right hand side. And when I say right hand side in your IT world, it's basically about taking your product and trying to move it across development, testing, and towards your completion. So when you start moving towards completion, you implement something called as flow. So this is a concept called as flow. Now, technically, if you start reading on flow, or using some lean book or whatever it is, you will start seeing some metrics. You will start seeing some statistical measures, and I'm going to explain you some of these statistics around what this flow as a concept is. So let's go back to our coins game spreadsheet number one, the round one game, and then let's try and see what basically is a flow and how it gets affected. There are three times that I have put here, the three timings that each person took. So Abhijit took 45 seconds, Prakash took 1 minute, and Ashish took more than a minute. Okay, and then suppose let's say that say Vidyadhar took say 30 seconds for this whole thing, and maybe Uttara was the fastest and she took 20 seconds, let's say. So let's see how the flow gets affected now. Okay, so I'm moving from left to right. Now let's say that the stories are coming in, or orders are coming in, orders for the work is coming in, let's say, and then say Abhijit is able to turn it around in 45 seconds, but Prakash is taking 1 minute. So in this kind of situation, what do you think will happen when Abhijit is churning around these orders pretty fast, but Prakash is taking 1 minute to actually churn around the orders? Okay, so what will happen here is that Abhijit will complete in 45 seconds, and slowly the coins will start building up here, waiting for Prakash to start taking up the new job. Okay, so your flow is getting affected. If you really look at it, the flow is getting affected. Take a similar problem here where Ashish is taking more than a minute. So you will notice that there is queue buildup happening here. And this queue buildup is happening because there is unevenness in the way in which the team members actually approach entire set of activities. Some people are fast, some people are slow. That's real life. What could be done about it? There's nothing you can do if somebody is fast or somebody is slow. You have to make things happen such that you try and even out the load, even if you get this kind of a problem. All right. So we saw in the first round that the overall process was slow because we were following a relay race. And then we saw that your process also gets slowed down based on each person. Okay. If the person is slow, your entire process is slow. I'm coming to a very important metric here, which we use and we try and measure things, and that's going to be about cycle time. Cycle time is the time taken by the slowest activity in the entire chain, and your chain is as fast as your slowest activity. Please understand. If, for example, in this particular example that we took in coins game, Prakash was slow, Ashish was slow, and you had Abhijit, you had Uttara, and you had Vidyadhar, who were the fastest in the chain, then please understand that your chain can be as fast as Ashish. There will be queue buildup, and this queue buildup is going to affect others. So it's an extremely important concept that your flow is dependent on your slowest activity. My friends, what I talked about was a metric called as cycle time. In lean, there are three metrics that you really talk about. Okay, one is the takt time. The takt time is the rate at which the orders arrive. In this case, the orders arrive at a certain rate. So if you really look at it, your product owners can create a story at a certain rate. This is called as your takt time. The total time taken for completion of your user story till the end, this is called as your lead time. So this is called as your lead time. This is your lead time. I talked about takt time. And then the time taken by the slowest person is called as cycle time. And your flow statistically, if you read any lean book, your flow is about takt time equal to cycle time. If your takt time and your cycle time is same, you will get a very fast performance. You have to ensure that your takt time is equal to your cycle time. That means there is no queue buildup anywhere. Okay, and when you implement takt time is equal to cycle time, that means the rate at which the stories are coming in and the rate at which the stories are moving out. If that becomes equal, you will not have any wait time anywhere, and you will get your work very, very fast to the right hand side. Takt time equal to cycle time means flow. Okay, so in statistics, if you really look at the statistical meaning of flow, this is what is explained in the books, but in real life, this is what it really means for all of you. Focus on the slowest activity in your chain and put more bandwidth on your slowest activity, this is the way you're going to speed up things, and this is the way you're going to get your flow together. In DevOps, it's extremely important. When you are focusing on a release of a particular product, your release will be as fast as your slowest chain activity. If your development is taking more time, that development is going to slow down your entire release. If your testing is taking more time or security testing is taking more time, your entire release is going to be slowed down by your testing or by security testing. So where will you put your more bandwidth? You will put your more bandwidth on the slowest activity in the chain so that you achieve a flow. All right. So suppose we have to do this slightly better. See, there was a very important, still there was a bottleneck in terms of, how it was approached in round number 2 also. It was again, round number 2 was much faster. But if we have to really make it speedy in terms of really trying to improve the performance further, let's come to round number 3. And I will cover the concept about the learning objective of round number 3 after we experience this. A very important constraint that I had put in the round 1 and 2 for you was about Abhijit, Prakash being able to start his work only after Abhijit completes. That was a restriction, right? So unless and until Abhijit completes his job, Prakash was not able to start. And unless and until Prakash completed his work, Ashish was not able to start his work. So you see, what was happening is there was wait time, even though it was lesser in the round number 2, there was still a wait time. How can we improve this flow? Okay, how can we improve this flow? Let's say that we change our thought process now and we say that, well, we are not going to wait for each other and we are going to do anything and everything required to get our product out. So for example, if Abhijit starts thinking, hey, why should I hand over the things to Prakash? Why don't I only do my development? Why don't I only do my testing or automations and get those, get that work out completely end to end? Why should I hand it over to somebody else? Why can't I do everything? It's a very important concept, and if you really look at it, you will see more involvement now. Abhijit, Prakash and Ashish, you please take the coins one by one and you start completing all the things like this. Okay, so that means you're going to do your development. So you're going to move it across 3. Okay, you're going to move it across and make it as an increment like this. Okay, so you're going to take the coins and you're going to take the coins entirely through the chain. So do it. Let's see whether you can do it much faster now. Abhijit, Prakash, Ashish, please take a coin and move it across. You don't need to move into anybody else's bucket. Move it into increment, move into the complete right hand side. Yes, absolutely. That's the way to do it. Very good. Excellent. You're moving so fast. Very nice. We are talking about completion of the entire work in 40 seconds, my friends. I know it's a simulation. I know it's a game that we are playing. But you know what? The first round, you took 3 minutes to complete it. In the third round, you're talking about 40 seconds for the same work to be completed. Even if we put a little bit of, say, maybe overheads on this, maybe 1/3 of the time you completed this entire work. We actually improved our performance between 1 and 2, but in third round, we still improved the performance much better. And a very important aspect that you're learning in terms of the implementation of flow is cross-functional teams. Cross-functional team is a team which can do anything and everything required for a product. It does not mean that we are a superman. Okay, it does not mean that we are a superman. But at least if you don't have enough work from your bucket, take up somebody else's bucket and try and do things. So it's a very important thing that you did. Ashish, I'll come to your question, so hold on. So what you did essentially is you put the entire stack of coins as one single bucket. And then what you did is you picked up whatever you could and you started completing it. Now maybe Abhijit did 5 coins, maybe Prakash did 4 coins, and maybe Ashish did 3 coins. Who cares? Finally, at the end of the day, as a team, you were able to get the entire coins across to the right hand side. And pretty quickly, you put the work in the middle, and then whatever time you got, you just picked it up, you started doing it and started completing it. You started killing your wait times. You started addressing the drawback of the first and second round, which was about the slowest activity. If you really look at it, there will be people who are slow. This is real life, and people are going to be slow sometimes. Maybe the slow people will do maybe 3 coins or 4 coins. The faster people actually took more coins and moved it across. You actually created a situation wherein the work flows much faster to the right hand side and there are no wait times. The wait times are getting reduced. If you see, these are various ways I am implementing fast flow towards right hand side. My friends, this is a very important concept that I'm talking about in terms of your product backlog. If you really look at your product backlog, when you try and take a sprint backlog and create a sprint backlog, what you do is you put work in the middle. And when you put a work in the middle, what the other people are doing is whenever you have time, you pick up the story or the activity and you take up and start doing it. You don't say I will do 3 stories at the start of the sprint planning. So you don't say in the sprint planning meeting that I will do 3 stories and you will do 4 stories and you will do 3 stories. We don't do that. We actually put the work in the middle. We put it into a sprint backlog. Whoever is free goes and takes up that work and starts doing it end to end. Okay, so now I am giving the coins some numbers, and those numbers is a dollar number, a dollar figure I am giving you. So now I am telling you that the white coin is worth $100 and the blue coin is worth $25. The green coin is worth $10 and the red coin is worth $5 only. Okay, so red coin is $5 only and the white coins is $100. And suppose I have to take the same participants now. Suppose I have to take the same participants, and now I'm going to tell you that you know what, you don't have to deliver everything, and obviously you will not be able to deliver everything in the time that I'm going to give you, but do what you can in 3 seconds. Do what you can in 3 seconds. And as a product owner, I want maximum value. I want maximum dollar value for my work. Okay, so please do what you can in 3 seconds. Abhijit, Prakash and Ashish, you get 3 seconds to do what you can for me. In 3 seconds, do what you can. Okay, time is up. Time is up. Okay, time is up. 3 of you, I gave you 3 seconds, and in 3 seconds, basically what you did, what you achieved, if you really look at it, it was natural process for you to focus on white coins. Not one person actually picked up a red coin. Not one person picked up a red coin. You picked up $100 coins first, then you picked up the blue coins, and I'm sure if you got more time, you would have picked up the green coin. I think the 3 people who did this, one person took the $100 coin, another person took the $100 coin, and then another person took the $25 coin. Naturally, when you put yourself under a time box pressure, the natural tendency is to ask the product owner, tell me the priority. I don't have enough time. And if I don't have enough time, I want to deliver what is most valuable for you. This is exact concept that we're going to follow in a DevOps kind of architecture, wherein we are going to release some product, and that some product is the most valuable product because we are under constant time pressure. If we say that we have a weekly release, or we have a release every 2 weeks, and you know you're not going to be able to do everything, and there are a lot of work there in the product backlog. There is just enough work in the product backlog. You're not going to get enough time to do everything. So the question to ask the product owner is, tell me the priority. Tell me what adds maximum value to you, and I'm going to deliver the maximum value. If you just calculate the amount of value, $100 for 2 coins and $25, so you basically achieve $225. In 3 seconds, you achieved $225, and if you total all the coins that you have there, that's approximately $400. You know what? You achieved about 55 to 60% of the work in less than 3 seconds. Amazing, isn't it? This is exactly what happens when you put yourself under a time box. The concept and the learning that we have is to implement the flow, to implement, you know, the output that you want to have. You're going to focus the fourth round learning objectives as you introduce a time box. So I have put across the screen where you will see the round 4 learning objectives now. As you put yourself under a time box, the focus changes from delivering everything to delivering as much as possible, and that as much is basically about delivering value. In DevOps, we always talk about value. We do not talk about all functionalities. Okay, we do not talk about all functionalities. We talk about value. So when we talk about a culture like this, wherein you want to do a release every week or a release every day, we have to talk about what is the most important at this point in time for my business, and this is what is going to give me value. This is what is going to give my business a value. As soon as you put yourself in a time box, thought process immediately changes. All right. 80-20 rule is about saying 80% of the value is delivered by delivering 20% of your products. Okay, so when you do break down your product into smaller pieces, when you break it down into smaller pieces, what you're going to achieve is those pieces which are most valuable for the customer. Maybe there are reports pending, let it be. Maybe the reports are not very important. Maybe the reports can be done manually, or whatever it is that may not add value to the end customer. It's very important that you focus on value and not all functionalities. My friend, in a nutshell, we have done flow. Okay, we have learned second important thing, that is taking feedback from each round that we did. We learned based on what we did, what experimentation that we do. We basically did the 3 principles of DevOps. If you really look at it, we implemented a flow. We made the things faster. Okay, by implementing a flow. We talked about feedback. We talked to each other. We actually understood on how we can improve the next round. So in each round, we came up with improvements. So we worked on the feedback, and as soon as you worked on the feedback, you started working on how you can improve. First round was very frustrating for all of us. It was very frustrating. It took us 3 minutes, waste of time. But then that made us think. Vidyadhar said, you know what, it was taking a long time. Then I started thinking about something else. It was very frustrating for Vidyadhar sitting there, seeing the people, how slowly they are doing things. You work on feedback. And then we experimented. We tried out things, and we tried out and made it work much better. 3 things you're always going to do is going to be about flow. It's about feedback, getting a feedback. The third thing is continuous experimentation, continuous learning. This is what the 3 things you are going to focus on. All your life, when you start doing this kind of work in terms of doing scrums or doing DevOps, you're going to focus on these 3 things: flow, feedback, continuous experimentation, and learning. Those are your 3 principles.